be part of the dudes.
Hi everybody, welcome to another ramble. Today, I am joined by Al Smiffy
Hello.
from Hat Films.
Yeah.
All by himself.
Yeah.
Most requested person to be on this of all time, I think.
Really?
Actually, no, not you. I think it's Trot is the most.
Well, that's hurtful.
But we got you anyway. So.
Yeah. Oh, sorry guys. I'm the stand-in.
So we tried to record this earlier, didn't we? Like 5 minutes ago,
Yeah.
but Skype kept cutting out, and we
Bloody
got
island
angry
internet
and
keeps. Yeah.
yeah.
So now
Yeah, my
I'm
island internet is
probably
not
up
the
to
best.
my regular salt level.
Yeah, regular. Well, that's fine. I mean, that's what we needed to get to, I think,
Yeah.
to have like the true experience, the true Al Smiffy experience. One night with Al Smiffy.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Just like sodium
one
levels
afternoon.
off the chart. Wait,
is this meant to be recorded in the evening?
A lunch hour.
Is this rambling?
No, not at all.
This is rambling with Sips, right?
Yeah. So we're having a ramble. We were having a good old ramble too before we were cut short, weren't we? Well, I was anyway.
Brutally.
I was telling you a nice story about prison.
Yeah. Your
Would you
friend
like me
worked.
to continue?
Your friend worked in a prison, he went to an interview at a prison, and they were telling him all about the big scary dude that ran the prison.
Wait a sec, though. How did we start talking about prison? You said something about prison first, and that prompted me to start talking about prison. What the hell were you talking
I
about?
have no idea. Oh, yeah. A friend of mine who I used to play WoW with was like either a prison guard or a security guard who used to watch the cameras, but he used to play WoW at the same time.
That's right. Yeah, and we were sort of saying that in the movies you see that happen all the time, and shit goes wrong because some guy's always playing WoW when he's meant to be watching the TV.
How many
screens or
breakouts
whatever.
do you think WoW's responsible for? How many subsequent
Probably too
killings
many.
as well? You know.
Well, how many like just deaths in general? Because it's an addictive game, right? Like, remember all those stories like out of Korea?
I was gonna say the Korean
people
baby
going to
stories
internet
and stuff like that.
Yeah, internet cafes, and they spend too much time there, and they have heart attacks, and they forget about their kids at home, and they die, and like it's all for the sake of like video games and being addicted to video games. But yeah, so anyway, I'll tell you this story about this guy that I knew who went for a job interview at a prison. It was a maximum security prison. Okay. It was in Kingston, Ontario.
Okay.
There's a maximum security prison.
I'm gonna pull up a picture.
In Kingston, Ontario. If you Google it, it's there anyway. So I used to work with this guy at a grocery store, and he was working during the day, and then at night he was studying to become I think he was getting a law degree so that he could become a police officer. And while this was happening, he got recommended to go to a job interview at this maximum security prison, right?
Okay.
So he goes out to Kingston, visits the prison, and does the job interview. And I think it went fine or whatever. I don't know if he ever got the job, but he was just like getting ready to leave, and he was talking to the guy that gave him the interview, and they were just having like small talk. And my friend was like, "Oh, hey, listen, like who's like your most unruly inmate? Like, does that really happen or whatever?" Like, he'd never been to a prison before. I think he was just asking, sort of like half jokingly or whatever.
Yeah.
And guy's like, "Oh, actually, we do have one that's just like almost uncontrollable." He's like, "Whoa, really? Like, I thought that was only like fictional or happened in movies or whatever." And the guy's like, "No, like this guy is, he's like huge. He's like this 8-foot tall black guy, and he basically just runs the whole prison." My friend's like, "Oh, that's crazy. Like, what the fuck? Like how does this happen? How did this come to be or whatever?" And he said, "Well, one time, like during like shower time or whatever, like a couple of the inmates tried to jump him because he'd said something or done something anyway, and they tried to jump him and stab him or whatever. And there's like about 7 or 8 of them that tried to do this or whatever.
Right.
And apparently the guy like took on all 8 of them at once and lived to tell the tale. So he fights off 8 of them, and then he ends up sexually assaulting 3 of them in the process as well.
I shouldn't laugh.
No, I know. It's so unbelievable. I mean, it might not even be true, but anyway, it makes for a great story, right? So this guy fights off 8 other guys. He sexually assaults 3 of them, and he is just named like the boss of the whole prison because of this. And nobody ever fucks with him. And he probably controls like all the drugs coming in and out. And if he's listening to this right now, I have a lot of respect for you. Please do not come after me and try to kill me or anything, because I'm
He's there in his
terrified
cell,
of
like
you.
on his little iPhone, watching you. Like
He's like this fucking.
I loved you
guy.
up until now, Sips, man, but now I'm gonna have
I fucking love your rambles, man, but this is too much.
This is dumb.
Yeah. So, like, apparently, I mean, if you believe that story, then, you know, this kind of stuff does happen.
Okay.
You know, you get these guys who just completely control a prison by, I guess, like, dealing in the same currency that prisoners deal in. And that's, you know,
Death and destruction and penises.
Violent assault and, maybe dismemberment and stuff as well. But yeah, so I guess it's like, it's kind of like in the animal kingdom, you know, like how animals have to like assert their dominance and stuff. And I guess that's maybe why the 3 sexual assaults occurred as well. Because he just thought it's not enough to just beat the shit out of these guys. You know, I'm going to show them what's what. It's not funny. It's not actually funny.
Stop it.
It's not funny.
Oh my
but
God.
At the same time, I mean, it's quite the story, isn't it?
Well,
Jesus Christ.
Let's just,
I was
they
surprised.
tried to kill him. Like, they're obviously bad
They did
people,
try to kill him.
so we
They
don't
did
have
try
to
to
feel
kill
that
him,
bad
yeah.
for them, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, you gotta think they were kids at one point. They got mums. You know?
but like,
they were innocent little toddlers at one point in their life. And what happened?
Well, that's the thing.
You know?
Like everybody starts. What was I talking? What was I watching the other day? I was watching something about babies being born or whatever, and like they were talking about, you know, like, Christ, there's like so many babies born every minute, and we come out like screaming and kicking and covered in blood, and then at some point when that baby grows up, they suddenly get this feeling of self-entitlement. And like, where does that come from? Like that's a strange human phenomena where we suddenly become people and you know, like, become business leaders or, you know, generals or pop stars or God knows what, you know, and people suddenly have this garnered respect for them. But like you say, at some point you were just a screaming kid shitting himself.
Yeah, I know, but like, how much do you think of that is like socially influenced and culturally influenced, as opposed to just being like human nature? Like,
I think, I think that they're both equal forces. Like they act on one another. So, for example, say you are naturally an imposing person, then culturally you and the people around you will probably play to that fact. Or say, for example, you're an incredibly attractive person, like, you know, or an incredibly smart person. There are different cultural factors.
I mean, those are all my curses,
you. I mean, I don't know how you deal with having the trifecta there.
Day.
I mean, yeah,
it's tough.
It is tough.
It's tough, but you know, I stare at myself a lot in the mirror and masturbate, so it makes me feel pretty good.
I bet it does.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, it's like free porn, you know?
No, but I mean, I guess like the concept of like an alpha male and being part of human nature and like the pack mentality and stuff all applies to humans as well, sorta. Not as like strictly as it does like wolves, I guess, sort of thing. But like there is always going to be somebody who's a little bit more aggressive or a little bit more dominant or, you know, controlling or whatever. But I guess those kind of traits manifest themselves differently, like in culture and society as well, right? Like,
and I wonder really how much, like, I think people are, I mean, genetic predisposition or whatever the hell you pronounce it, is definitely a factor. But like equally, if there's never been a need for that person to become like that, then they might not ever do it, you know? Like, so I was watching another little documentary about some like Marines, like US Marines, and they were talking about like none of these guys particularly seemed to be, you know, your typical soldier. And the guy, it was on Reddit, and the guy was like he was a film student before he joined the US Marines. And so like he put a lot of effort into, you know, recording loads of content. Like the edit was pretty shaky, to be honest, but like it was a lot of good content there, and it was quite interesting. And it makes you think, like, you know, like this is a person that clearly appreciates and understands human nature because he's capturing it, but at the same time has made a decision to go and kill people in a foreign land. And it's weird how, you know, whether that's right or wrong, people can be put in the position where they think that's either okay or the right thing to do or whatever. I'm not saying whether or not it is or not, but like they've got to the point in their mind where they're excited about shooting somebody. You know, and
yeah, but it's a psychological thing though, right? It's the responsibility thing.
Yeah,
you know, like it's, you know, sit in this room and press this button. What does the button do? It's going to kill somebody, but it's fine. Just press it. Okay, fine. Like, it's not my responsibility. Somebody told me to do it and they said it was going to be fine, so I have no problem doing it, sort of thing. And especially, I guess, if you don't see it. I don't know, though, nowadays it's not like it was, right? Like warfare in general.
Yeah.
A lot of it is done remotely, right? So there's even less of that sort of, it's not, you're not getting up in somebody's face and like, chopping their head off with a bayonet anymore, sort of thing.
It's
like,
not. Well, there was
most of the time
a whole study on drone pilots now, because most of the drones the Americans fly are flown from the US, within US soil.
Yeah.
So a guy gets up at 8 a.m., has a coffee, has breakfast with his kids, drives to his work, locks into a drone, which is somewhere in Afghanistan, flies it, does a couple of drone strikes. Here's the guys on the ground, getting shot at, blows up whatever the hell he's doing, finishes his day at 5 and drives home. And they're struggling with the psychology behind it, and some of these guys are having breakdowns and stuff because whilst there are sort of parameters in place to govern PTSD from infantry, they're not in place for these people that are essentially playing a real video game every day and then driving home to see their family. Like when troops are out in foreign like countries doing stuff, they know they're there for 3 to 6 months. They know that's what they do. Then they come home and they can leave it there. But with these guys flying drone missions in the US, they never leave it at work. It's always with them, and it's really
I guess
interesting.
You guys like when you guys go on your maneuvers in the TA, you get a lot of like the PTA as well. You're just like you see some shit out there that you just don't want to ever talk about.
Yeah, I mean, like I've shit in so many holes now that I thought that would be a liberating thing. Like me and my brother, the first time we went a few years back when we went on these proper military simulation. This is what it's called, ops.
Yeah. Do you guys what kind of stuff do you? Is it all airsoft or is it like paintball and stuff?
No,
too,
it's all airsoft. So basically. It's similar to like a day of airsoft, but also with a lot of other more sort of like hardcore skills. So for example, actual fieldcraft. So you have to work out where you're sleeping that night. You're out in the valley, like this big Welsh valley, and you have to sleep outside. And man. It sounds pretty simple, but when it's November, it's pretty hilarious. A friend of mine.
No, sleeping outside is not simple. There's just literally not a simple thing about it.
Yeah. So you got to carry all that gear. You got to worry about whether it's raining or not. You got to worry about what you're sleeping on, as in if the floor's wet. Last time we went in November, it gets properly cold up there. It gets down to about -3, -5, and we got sent out on a little mission. So that we have these commanders, and we go out from our little base. And walk about 3 miles to this broken down little farmhouse, and we're observing the enemy team, which are further down the valley from us. And we were told that we were just going out for a quick thing, get out there, have a look. But then when we were out there, we got radioed, and they're like, "Yeah, you guys are gonna have to sit up there. We think they're gonna be moving up through the valley, so we want you to stay out there." And this whole time, you're obviously playing a game, so you're in your head, you're "Yeah, I'm playing a game. It's fun. This is cool. Yeah, okay, we'll wait here. No
role
problem."
playing hardcore.
Yeah, but at some point, you start to think "Holy shit! It's 3:00 in the morning. I am freezing, sat on my belly, next to a river." And I'm choosing to do this. It's not life or death. It's I'm doing
Terry's
it because
mom packed the wrong granola bars too, so you're fucking.
And this is the story, right? So
wanted chocolate chips.
Yeah,
instead.
and we had this new guy with us who hadn't been out with us before. Me and 3 or 4 of the other guys in my squad had all done it before, and we knew we were using the standard military layering system, which is where you have a base layer, a shirt, a fleece, and then a thing over the top of that. So it means that you can stay warm and take it off when you start getting hot when you're running around, all this sort of stuff. But the guy that came with us was new to it, and he was just woefully underprepared. So it's November, and he bought a 2-season sleeping bag. So the kind of thing you'd buy to go for a sleepover at your friend's house. And
nice.
We've all got military Arctic sleeping bags.
I had one of those.
Yeah, I had one as well.
Mr. T themed as
well.
well.
Yeah. It's oh dude, it's 20 quid from Argos or whatever. And the thing was, he also forgot something called a bivvy bag, which is the thing you put over the bag, which keeps it dry if it rains. We were sleeping in a sheep pen that was open to the elements, right? So it had a lean-to roof on it, but the wind and the rain just blew straight through it. So we were out until 3, freezing our asses off. And one of the guys who's with me, who's really experienced, disappeared. We were like, where's he gone? Where's Ash? And we were like, I don't know. And we started shouting for him. We put our torches on, which is a really bad thing to do because it gives away your position. And we were shouting at the top of he's my cousin. So we were really shouting, really worried that he'd fallen in the river or some shit.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Eventually we found him. He was about 15 feet from me, sleeping on a pile of rocks, but we were so cold and tired that he just didn't wake up. And so we're like, right, we need to get out of here. So we called like the base guys. They came in, picked us up in a truck, and we drove back to base. We got back, and the other guy, the inexperienced guy, was like basically drunk. I've never seen anything like it before. He was so cold that he was drunk, and he was just talking about like, oh, I feel so weird, and like floating around and falling over. And I legitimately thought he'd had hypothermia. And so we get back, and we put him in his sleeping bag, and the whole thing had been left out the entire night, and it rained, and the thing was soaked through. So he gets into a soaking wet sleeping bag in like -5, and I gave him mine in the end, and he slept in that. But like, yeah, it's the pursuit of like fun. You get into these situations.
That sounds crazy. It just sounds like you guys had like your own private pile along for that one as well. You know, like just this like sort of blundering new guy that just doesn't have the stuff he needs. And did you guys like put soap in a sock and whack him?
Yeah. We crept up, held him down with a towel, you know, and like No, but the thing is, after you do it, like in the moment, you're like, shit, this is really hard for like fun. Yeah, this is a bit much. But then afterwards, like a couple of weeks later, you're like, that was so fucking fun.
There's something satisfying about sort of like braving the elements and doing something like that, though, right? Because it's not something you do all the time. Yeah. It's not something that you have to do either. So I guess that's what makes it fun. I mean, obviously, if you're conscripted to go like raid the Normandy beaches, you're not going to look back and be like, yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah,
like,
right.
That's fucking awful. But like if you're choosing to do it and it's like a leisure pursuit or whatever, I guess it's like hunting, like, you know, you go out.
Yeah, except like nothing actually dies, which is good, I guess. Like I think I really love the idea of the forces and all that sort of stuff, but like I don't think I'd ever want to do it just because I don't think it's too hard to make a decision as to whether, you know, you shoot somebody.
And well, you get deployed and stuff as well. If you ever want to like, you know, have a family and stuff, you have to like drag them around all over the place and live on bases and stuff. I guess it's not bad, but like,
do they have military service in Canada?
I don't even know if they have a military anymore. I mean, when I lived there, pretty sure they bought like a 1940 submarine. This was like in like 1999.
Right.
They bought one because they didn't have any submarines. Right. So they're like, yeah, well, this one will do. It's nice and cheap.
Yeah.
And then I think apart from that, they had like maybe 2 shopping carts with like a machine gun mounted on it. 2 guys that would just look after it.
You know, it's
Canadian military is not really.
So like, our, you know, the Trident subs, the UK's Trident subs, they're like on nuclear deterrent. So we have, I think it's 4 of them now, maybe 5 of them, where they are roving nuclear deterrents. So there's always at least 1 or 2 on patrol anywhere in the world, and nobody knows where they are apart from, you know, our leading generals. Like they're meant to be that they can strike from anywhere. But each commander has a safe with a letter in it from the Prime Minister of the UK at the time, and in that letter is instructions of what to do when it appears the UK has fallen victim to a nuclear attack. So they'll check it in a number of ways. So they'll check if the BBC World Service is still broadcasting and stuff like that, and they'll try and contact command. If they don't get any of that, the captain of the sub opens up the letter, and there'll be instructions, and they'll be either, you know, retaliate, so retaliate against whoever shot us, so blast some nukes at them, or there'll be the most common one, which I think Tony Blair and Gordon Brown both did, was retreat to Canada. So all of our Trident subs would drive, or I don't know, drive like put on over to Canada, hook up with you guys on the East Coast, and create
there's nothing to even receive that type of submarine in Canada. Like I think it's just like a crappy old wooden pier somewhere.
Hey guys,
does that work?
Oh, you actually came.
Hey, what's up? Oh, look, it's a Trident. Nice.
These massive nuclear powered submarines.
I don't know about you. I could never go on a submarine. I would just be shitting my pants the whole time. I just feel so uncomfortable and claustrophobic in a submarine. That would just be the worst for me. I don't even know what I would do. Imagine you're the commander of submarine and you get to that point where it's like, hang on, the BBC isn't broadcasting anymore. Gotta look at this letter. Okay, the letter says to actually nuke another country. Well, it looks like we're gonna die in here because what are you gonna do? Like, I mean, if there is a nuclear war,
exactly,
in this day and age, the entire Earth would be
dead,
gone, pretty much. Like it's you're not talking about the nukes that they dropped in like the
Hiroshima
30. Yeah, exactly. They're like millions of times more powerful than those nowadays, and literally that would spell the end of mankind. So you would retaliate, and that would be you and your crew. Yeah, in your trident under the sea until you die.
A new world.
Pretty much, you could never surface again because it would just be awful. And it wouldn't be like Fallout, like the game Fallout. It wouldn't be interesting in any way. No. Literally, there would be no life left on Earth.
Yeah, and
it wouldn't be like shanty towns or anything like that.
It would just suck.
It would just be, it would just suck. Suck huge balls.
I guess that's kind of the argument against it. Like, there's a British politician at the moment who just won the Labour leadership election, who was talking about what he would do with Trident, and he was saying about how he would never leave a command to attack or fire a nuclear missile, and he said it publicly. And like, in a way, it's a good thing, but at the same time, it just makes us look completely impotent, because it's like, fire a nuke at us, we won't fire one back. But like you say, like if anyone fires one, then really the argument is moot, because like we're fucked. Like,
well, and the repercussions as well. Like, you got to think any like huge superpower that were to nuke another one.
Yeah.
All of these countries are so like entwined now in like economies and trade and all of this stuff. Like, you couldn't just like nuke another huge country, them cease to exist, and still like thrive as a country after that.
Yeah. Hey, so that was last week.
Who gives a shit? Yeah, they're gone. Who cares about those guys?
Oh, get over it.
Yeah, it would have such a catastrophic like chain of repercussions that it would just nothing would ever be the same or survive again, and that would be it basically. I don't know if it would ever get to that point unless somebody accidentally pressed the big button.
Oh, this is the thing.
That launched all the nukes.
There are all these stories about
he's too busy playing WoW or something.
Yeah. Whoops. Oh, dinged 80. Oh, what's that? Or 90 or whatever the hell the cap is these days. There's a bunch of stories about like times where the world almost ended. There's a really famous one about there was who was it? It was a Russian officer who he was like on the their west coast or whatever, and they thought they saw a nuke coming across from America, and they had the command from their leadership to retaliate, fire back, and this officer worked at like a listening station or something along those lines, and so he just made the decision that like he just couldn't fathom that they'd actually fired nukes at them, and so he didn't like go through with the order and fire back, and it turned out it was just like a blip. It was like a squadron of aircraft or something that they hadn't registered properly, but it was literally like if he'd gone through with the command that his leadership had given him, that would have been the end, really. They would have fired, and all hell.
The worst thing about it is that there would just be no history of it. Nobody would ever know.
That you wouldn't learn anything from it.
We'd never learn anything from it because we'd all be dead.
Yeah.
Like, that would be it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like, oh, hey, you remember that time that guy made the mistake and accidentally launched all nukes? No, gone. Like, that's it. We're all dead. It's crazy to think, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
you ever think like how it would feel to be like, let's say nuclear war did break out on Earth, and you were like just up in the space station at the time.
Yeah.
I think I had this conversation with Lewis at one point. Wouldn't that be like sort of like a living hell?
Yeah, because you just get to watch the world burn.
You just watch the world burn, and that's it. Like, nobody's coming for you. You're never going back.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. You're just gonna die when you run out of supplies up on the space station. Like, oh man.
I mean, it would make a great film. It would make a great film, and also like imagine if there was like a a module docked, like one of the Russian Return to Earth modules. Docked, you could just get in when you felt like it all died down. So you're watching it for 6 months, you got enough supplies, you and the guys are watching it through the window, the world's fireworks going off, and then you're all right, okay, guess we go down and see what's cracking. You get in your little module and see where you go, and bam, you land on nuked Earth. I mean, it could be the beginning of Fallout 4, the game.
Maybe.
That would make sense.
Yeah. It'd be a really good premise for a game or like a movie or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of movies, I don't know if like disaster movies, are they a thing that you would normally watch? Because like
I find it weird, mainly because I don't really like using the weather as a concept for a bad guy in a film. No, but like, what about the ones where like a big asteroid is like gonna hit? Oh yeah, well yeah, of course I love Deep Impact. Yeah, Deep Impact
like
is pretty great.
Yeah, you gotta like a disaster movie, right? Like, even though it's kind of depressing and stuff,
it is so sad. I watched Deep Impact when I was like 12, and like I was like, holy shit. this is horrible. And they're all like scrambling to get to high ground because all the floods are coming and shit. And it's just like,
yeah. It's kind of like the start of War of the Worlds. That movie, the start of that movie was like really cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, the one with Tom Cruise or the
yeah.
Right, yeah.
And then it gets to a point sort of halfway through where it's like not so.
It just
cool
becomes
anymore.
like any
shit.
sort of fighty sci-fi film, like
Kinda, yeah. But like the start where like the invasion is happening and everything's getting like ripped apart and stuff is actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And it's sort of like, I guess it is like a disaster movie. But then there's that one where I can't remember what it's called now, but it's that one that has Jake Gyllenhaal or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
What is it like? Is it something to do with the ice caps melt or something?
Oh, the day after tomorrow.
Yeah. It's really cold, and they accidentally like fall into a library.
One. I really didn't like
I
that
thought
one.
that was really dumb. I couldn't even like pay attention. It was so dumb.
The bit where the
But,
fuel lines freeze inside the helicopter. It's just like, I mean, how cold would it have to be for that to happen? Like snap freezing.
Well, you wouldn't. They wouldn't be alive. It'd be like so fucking cold.
Yeah.
Like they just. It doesn't matter how many like snowsuits they have on.
And it's that scene where he's like having to burn books to stay warm. It's like that fire's probably kicking out like barely any heat in contrast to what it would take to freeze fuel lines in a helicopter. I know. It was just kind of like,
yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, you don't expect them to be ultra realistic. It's kind of like, but at the same time, like
you want them
the
to
movie
fool
didn't
you.
really have like any sort of like. It didn't have like any comedic breaks in it, sort of thing either.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I went to go see True Lies. Remember that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie?
Yeah.
I went to see True Lies in the theaters with my friends. We were like pretty young at the time when it came out. It was like it was a 90s movie or whatever. And we had the guy behind us that, we had that guy behind us who's like, so unrealistic, and like in the context of True Lies, yeah, it is going to be unrealistic, right? Because it's like sort of like a funny action movie or whatever, like there was a lot of like crazy stuff happening in it and stuff at the time. But this guy was like, he just couldn't accept that there was like a horse running around in the shopping mall. And he was just like, oh God. And just like the whole time I'm sitting there thinking like, why the fuck did you pay to come and see this movie? You knew it would be like kind of like this, right? Like,
in it.
Yeah. And it's just, it was a pretty good movie though, actually, True Lies. It's like that was kind of like the heyday for action movies, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or maybe like coming up to the end of the heyday for action movies.
What was that one where they built a device that dropped a woman through like this big gyroscope thing and it sent her to like some other dimension, or it sent her blasting through space?
What the fuck?
Man, it was a great film. One sec. I'll find out what it's called. A machine is
a woman drops into a gyroscope and blasts through space.
Yeah, one sec. I'll find
What, is it like a new movie or is it old?
No, it's called Contact.
Contact.
Oh shit, did you see that?
Oh, I didn't see that,
so
no.
good. It's got Jodie Foster in it. Dude, you've got to watch. You must have seen it. It's amazing. It's from...
No, I did see Contact with Jodie Foster. That's the one that had like the really big satellites or whatever.
Yeah. It's so good.
Okay, it's coming back a little bit because I saw it once in the theaters when it came out, and it was a long ass time ago.
So she works for like the equivalent of SETI. I don't know whether it is meant to be SETI in the film.
I think it is.
Yeah. So she's searching for it, and they pick up this signal, and they translate the signal from like beeps and bops or whatever to like
that's right.
plan for a machine. And it's this huge machine they build that's like, basically a huge gyroscope thing. And the person sits inside this ball that gets dropped through it. And to everybody outside, it looks like the ball just dropped through and nothing happened. But to the pilot inside, she gets like blasted through space and time and like meets these aliens who want to like, bring Earth.
I remember,
but like, it was done in a really nice way. It was kind of subtle. Again, like in the 90s, it was kind of like that time when, Jurassic Park was being made and everything was quite fantastical, but it kind of had like this romantic feel to it, which, like, I don't know whether it was the way it was shot or like the way they did it, but you kind of
it wasn't so over the top. I think they were a little bit more limited in what they could sort of do visually and stuff back then. So it wasn't just like this big orgy of like CGI and stuff, which is works for some stuff, I guess, but like I don't know. On the other hand, I mean, I haven't seen an action movie in a long time actually, but I guess most of them now are sort of like the Avengers or like the Marvel
just
movies,
drenched
and I
in
guess
effects.
Transformers. Yeah, and it's just all sort of. I mean, I saw the new Terminator movie, or the most recent one, and everybody was saying that it was like total dog shit. I actually kind of liked it.
Well, the new
It's okay.
Terminator film, I haven't seen it, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Have
was
you
alright,
seen Super 8?
No.
So Super 8 was a film produced by Steven Spielberg, and it's during the summer of 1979. And there's
nice.
a train crash, and it's very strange, but like it's really, really good. I really enjoyed it, and it feels very much like those films I was talking about, like Contact and like that era. It's really, really good, and it feels.
I
a bit
found
like
Interstellar
E.T.
was a little bit like that too.
Yeah,
you saw that.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Interstellar. That was probably one of my favorite films of last year. We saw it
I
in the
thought it was
Albert
really good
Hall.
too.
Like we went up to the Albert Hall to watch it.
Oh, nice.
And had like a live band, and like Stephen Hawking was there talking about it, and it was crazy. Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
actually.
Christopher Nolan, the director, was there, and it was amazing.
I think when did we see it? I think we went to see it in. We saw it in LA when we were at BlizzCon last year. We saw it, and we went to see it at this theater, like I think it was like in Disney Village, just outside of like Disneyland. And I don't know what was wrong with the theater, but I think like the sound system was kind of screwed up, because I know the music is meant to be like really loud, but it was like so fucking loud in this theater. It actually, you could hear like weird like shaking and trembling of the speakers, and
I mean,
like,
it is meant
and
to be
stuff
like that. Like a lot of the time, there's a lot of shaking of the ship and stuff. Like when he's going through the black hole. And
no, I know, but like it just didn't sound right. Like you couldn't even hear dialogue half the time. Like it was just really, really bad. I don't know what happened. Yeah. But it was an excellent movie though. I really, really enjoyed it. Actually,
it was really good.
It's one of those movies that just sort of made you think a little bit as well, right? And it wasn't just this. It wasn't just this movie that threw water in your face constantly, sort of thing, Like it wasn't like every scene had like a ton of action in it and stuff. It was just a really nice pace. It was just a really cool story, and it was really nice. I enjoyed it.
It's quite interesting. I was reading a lot about like where games and where media and art are going right now, and like it was talking about how the last 10 years, like the sort of from like, I don't know, let's say 98 to like 2000 to 2010 were very much based in like the fantasy world of themes. So like fantasy RPGs were huge, Lord of the Rings was huge, Harry Potter was huge. It was all about fantasy and magic. But now like where we're going is very much space related. So like all of the big films recently have been about space. Like The Martian coming out now is about space. Interstellar was about space. There's tons of stuff about space, and the new games that are getting popular. You got Star Citizen, you've got Elite Dangerous, you've got like everything is going to space. And
you've been playing a bit of that, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, and we tried it on the. Yeah, it's great. I tried it on the HTC Vive, the new Steam VR, when I was when we were at EGX, and it was freaking great. It's amazing. It's so good. Like it's the coolest thing in the world. Like I used to play when I first started playing PC games. My dad bought me like Microsoft Flight Simulator, and like I used to fly that sometimes, and it was so fun. And this was what that kid wanted. Like you can sit in the cockpit and you can look up and see all around you, and like you look down and like screen like Iron Man style screens pop up around you and all this sort of shit. It's unbelievably cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's like the coolest
I tried
thing.
I had a similar experience, but it was on the Oculus Rift, and I tried Elite a while back when we were at Gamescom. And man, I just felt sick. Like being able to look around and trying to reverse your ship out of the docking bay and stuff. It was just like crazy, but it was really cool.
Motion sickness is a challenge of the hardware. Like there's ways to eliminate it, and like the HTC Vive, the Steam VR is like 5 times better than Oculus. Honestly, like the quality and the feeling of
I've
immersion.
heard that it's really, really good.
It's so good, man. It's amazing.
Nice. Are you gonna get one?
Oh, absolutely. Like it's the most. It's the coolest thing I've seen in gaming in years.
Have they gone down the same route as Oculus Rift and licensed adult content for the hardware as well?
I have no idea. I imagine,
because I am interested in that. How do you like? I mean, I can't even imagine. I mean, I can't even imagine what they would do. Which kind of actually reminds me of something I meant to ask you. Well, not you particularly, but talk to somebody about in general. Did you hear that Playboy aren't going to produce nude
any
more nudes anymore?
I think it's actually a really clever move.
What's What's the point, though? That's the whole point of the magazine.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you why. And this is
because the articles are so good. Because that used to be the excuse. Remember, I don't get Playboy for the news.
My personal
articles
prediction of why they've done it and what it will do to their brand is that I think it will push Playboy into a premium brand position. So I think that people will start picking up Playboy as a statement of like, I'm not looking at it for the nudity. I'm looking at it for the sense of liberalism. Honestly, I think that they're going to try and build this brand where, you know, you'll see it at freaking Paddington Station in London and stuff like that. You know, commuters reading it as if it's like NME. Because you know when NME magazine used to be like the really cool thing to read? Like some of my friends would read it. It's like, yeah, I read NME. It's like the new music express. You know, I think that Playboy are trying to go down that angle and create this sort of chic brand for themselves. I think it's interesting.
Well, maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I would only buy Playboys to look at naked ladies.
I think that's the thing. So, like, I think that the relevancy of their audience has changed too much. They're not making enough people. There's not enough perverts out there anymore, mate. That's the problem.
No, I know. I mean, do people even do magazine subscriptions anymore? Like,
no.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, the last magazine I subscribed to was like Nintendo Power, I think, the late 80s or something. But yeah, it's good enough. It's pretty good. But all right, well, listen, we had a whole conversation. I don't think we mentioned dicks or balls once.
It's pretty good going.
It's not bad, actually. Jesus. I mean, we've got a track record, don't we?
We do. I mean,
talking about all sorts of weird and wonderful shit. But I feel like today we actually had a decent conversation for once.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's almost too much.
It wasn't even salty or anything, actually.
Yeah. I'm just enjoying my apple now. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Well, you do that. Nice. I'm going to go have my lunch and possibly.
What are you eating? A bag of dicks?
That's exactly. Yeah, well, I had that for lunch yesterday, so I was actually going to opt for a bowl of dicks today instead.
I mean, for a vegetarian, you sure eat a lot of meat.
I do. I love it. It's a secret guilty pleasure of mine. All right. Well, listen. Thanks for being on my thing.
Okay.
Whatever.
No worries.
It's a show, I guess, or I don't know. Anyway, it gets uploaded to places and downloaded by people. So there you go. Now everybody knows that you and Private Pile were out in the Welsh countryside,
trying to desperately keep each other warm.
Bag. Yes, spooning each other into safety to combat the cold.
Good.
Nice. All right. Well, there you go. Another ramble complete. Al Smiffy, you're done.
Thanks, man.
You can come back anytime you want if you want to.
I'll tag in one of the other guys.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, I love it. It's really good. It was really nice catching up with you.
Okay. Well, you too. And yeah, we'll have the other guys on in due course as well. Excellent.
Sweet.
All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
I want